palace of the sun was a radiant place. It never had darkness or night, but always high noon. There was a day where a youth, mortal on his mother's side, dared to approach. He did every once in a while stop and clear his eyes, but kept going towards the palace because the purpose was so urgent. He eventually stopped when he arrived at the room. The boy's mother, Clymene, told the boy, Parthenon, that the sun god is his father. The boy was thrilled when the god did not deny it. The god told Parthenon he could ask for anything from him, and he shall receive it. Parthenon had dreamed of guiding the steeds along that dizzy course and giving light to the world, and now that this has all happened, he begged the god to let him be light for only a single day. The god refused because no mortal was able to take his place. In fact, no other god is able to take his place as well. The god tells his son that if he wants to be him, there will be challenges like passing the beast, the bull, the lion, the scorpion, and the great crab, and each will try and harm him. The boy still couldn't get over the fact that there is no possible way he can become the god. Time was almost out. Dawn had opened her courts. Parthenon was off on the chariot, and for a bit he felt like the lord of the sky. Eventually the chariot started swinging wildly, and pace sped up. He lost control and couldn't command the horses. The boy nearly wrecked into the scorpion and almost ran into the great crab. The boy let go of the reins. The horses soared up to the top of the sky and then plunged down to set the world on fire. The highest mountains were the first to burn. The springs turned into steam, and rivers shrank, and the Nile fled. Parthenon could hardly keep his place there with all the smoke and heat. Mother Earth could bear no more as well. All they wanted was for this to end. The Olympians had to react quickly, so Zeus seized his thunderbolt and hurried it at the rash. He struck the driver dead and shattered the chariot. This made the maddened horses rush down into the sea. The mysterious river Eridanus, which no mortal has ever seen, received him and took him out of the flames. Then the Naiads buried him and carved upon the tomb. Parthenon greatly failed, and his sisters, the Heliades, came to mourn for him and were turned into poplar trees on the bank of the Eridanus. In a city called Euphire, later called Corinth, a man named Glaucus was king. He was a great horseman who fed his horses human flesh in order for them to be fierce in battle. This angered the gods, so they threw him off his chariot and he was eaten by the horses. A beautiful and bold young man named Bellerophon is held to be the son of Glaucus, but he is the son of Poseidon. His mother, Eurynome, a mortal who had been taught by Athena. It seems he is less mortal than divine. Some of his best-known deeds took no courage, effort even. He wanted Pegasus more than anything. In order to catch Pegasus, Bellerophon was told to sleep in Athena's temple by Polynus. Bellerophon did as he said, and while he was asleep, Athena was there and awoke him. She gave him a gold bridle charm and told him to use it as he went to the fields to catch Pegasus. The charm worked, and when he went up to Pegasus, the creature was not startled or afraid. Bellerophon was now the master of the beautiful creature. Bellerophon leaped on the creature's back, and they could go anywhere. Pegasus was not only a joy, but also a help in time of need. Bellerophon killed his brother and went to Argos, where the king Proetus purified him. We are not sure if this was on accident or on purpose. The wife of the king, Antea, fell in love with Bellerophon. When he turned from her, she was angry and asked her husband to kill him because Bellerophon treated her wrong. The husband, however, did not feel it was right to kill him after he had already eaten off at their table, but he did have a plan. He asked Bellerophon to take a letter to the king of Lycia. The letter asking the king of Lycia to kill him, but since the king had already entertained Bellerophon for 9 days before reading the letter, he did not want to kill him for the same reason as Proetus. Instead, the king of Lycia asked Bellerophon to slay the Chimera, a terrible beast that was devastating the countryside by devouring livestock and killing humans he encountered. But with Pegasus, anything could be done. Eventually, Bellerophon returned to Protus, and Protus had to come up with some other ways to kill him. First, he had Bellerophon go on an expedition against the Solymi, mighty warriors, and then to fight against the Amazons, and finally won over Protus's friendship. In fact, Protus gave Bellerophon his daughter's hand in marriage. Bellerophon lived an amazing life until he angered the gods by thinking he was better than all of mankind. He tried to ride Pegasus up to Olympus to take his place with the immortals, but Pegasus was too smart for that to happen. Bellerophon hated the gods, wandered alone, devouring his own soul and avoiding paths of all men until he died. Pegasus, however, lived a great rest of his life in the heavenly stalls of Olympus. He is the one who brought Zeus thunder and lightning. Otis and Ephialtes were giant twin brothers, and they did not look like monsters of old. They were the sons of Iphimedia, some say, others of Canace. The father was certainly Poseidon. These two at a young age set about proving they were gods. They imprisoned Ares, bound him with chains of brass, and shut him up. Then they threatened to pile Mount Pelion on Mount Ossa. Zeus was ready to strike them, then Poseidon promised to keep them in order. Otis wanted to carry Hera off, and Ephialtes was in love with Artemis. Truth was, they only cared about each other, and then went after Artemis. She knew what they were up to and knew how she was going to punish them. She led them into an island called Naxos. She disappeared, but they saw a lovely milk-white hind go into the forest. They split up to find the hinds and ended up running into each other, also slaying each other. Daedalus was the architect of the labyrinth for the Minotaur in Crete. He was also the father of Icarus. King Minos imprisoned Icarus and his father in the labyrinth to see if they were able to escape without the help of Daedalus, also to see if the creator was able to escape. Fortunately, Daedalus created some kinds of wings so he could fly. He told Icarus the route to fly over the sea and not to fly too high up or the wings would melt. The boy flew up, not paying attention to what his father had said, and fell into the sea. His father, however, flew safely to Sicily, where the king received him kindly. Minos was enraged with his escape and was determined to find him. He had a contest to see who was able to pass a thread through an intricately spiraled shell. Daedalus told the king he could do it, so he closed the end of the shell and tied a thread to an ant, and showed the ant to the hole and closed it. The ant eventually came out the other end of the shell. The king refused to surrender him, and in the contest Minos was slain. A modern-day life lesson for the story of Parthenon and Daedalus would be obeying your parents. They know what's best for you, and if you do not obey orders, there will be consequences. A biblical explanation is the fifth commandment: honor your mother and father. A modern-day life lesson for Pegasus and Bellerophon and Otis and Ephialtes would be not getting so prideful in yourself or others that you forget about the Lord. A biblical explanation would be like the second commandment: do not make any idols, or Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and ignorance and the evil way and the perverted mouth I hate.